Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. This is a video that a lot of people are probably wondering if I'm going to make another one of this. I am, because there's a lot of backlash going on David Schweikert, who has decided to run for governor, and this is coming from the MAGA base. It's coming from Republicans. They're saying that the midterms are ruined. This is going to cost Republicans the House, yada, 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 yada. And I'm just coming out and I'm saying, no, it might be a bad, poor move on behalf of David Schweikert, but this is a poor move, but this is clearly hyperbole. This is hyperbole. It's not going to cost the midterms, and I am going to debunk everything, even though Red Eagle was on track on a lot of it. He said a lot of stuff that I 100% disagree with, and he's not necessarily getting correct. First off, I do think, to put my views into perspective in this, I think this is a devastating move, not to the Republican Party, but to David Schweikert's career. Okay, now you might be wondering, why is David Schweikert running for governor? Now, personally, David Schweikert, you should have, and this is the other thing, you should have seen this coming. Here's the problem with Republicans, okay, and this is including Red Eagle. And yeah, I'm going to give some hits to Red Eagle in this video, but I'm just saying, why aren't you talking about Susan Collins? Because we expect, and he expects Susan Collins to run. He puts Maine in the light red, and assuming that Susan Collins is going to get the nomination. Dude, I'm not even sure Susan Collins is even going to run. Out of everything, she might want to spite Republicans and drop out and just say, screw it, we're not running. And it's because you take a look at these older people, and David Schweikert, yeah, he's correct. He's not old necessarily, but he's been in Congress for a very, 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 very long time. And he's been in politics for a very, very long time, since 1991. I mean, Red Eagle, you're a young guy. You're probably, well, I don't know, weren't even born yet in 1991. This guy was in politics. This guy is going to retire at some point. And I'm just saying, I'm just trying to get, and a Real American was also commentating, and I'm just saying, okay, a lot of these Republicans, they're not being realistic. Okay, when it comes to 2026, you look at the incumbents at these very competitive seats. You always have to look at how long they've been in the Congress seat for. Okay, they're eventually going to retire. The longer they're in there, the likely the chances they're going to retire the next year. Okay, in the case of David Schweikert, he's been in Congress since 2011. This is his 8th term running. What do you expect David Schweikert to do? Run for 10 terms in his career? He can. But just like Red Eagle put it, yeah, you get tired of being in that House of Representatives. And in David Schweikert's case, yeah, that's just not realistic. It's very rare for Congress people to stay in the House of Representatives for 10 years. There's a lot of them, but the percentage-wise is low. And we could go ahead and take a look at the House of Representatives. I don't mean to call out Red Eagle this way. I'm just saying, I don't want to make this only on Red Eagle. I'm going to make it on Real American. I'm just saying these Republican commentators are not being realistic. I have had a realistic expectation all the way through, because I always know that, hey, look, the chances are these congressmen people are not running. Okay, because of how long they're in office. You take a look at Susan Collins, and we'll talk about Susan Collins right now, because I know I will forget. Susan Collins has been in Congress since the 90s, and we have so many Republican influencers coming around saying, oh, Susan Collins is going to keep the seat red, it's going to be Republican, and I'm like, no, not until she actually announces her run. I'm not calling it. I'm not calling Maine red, because the chances, in my view, is she's likely not going to run again, than actually going to run again. I can guarantee you right now, Susan Collins is on her couch right now thinking about if she's going to run or not. Okay, it says she has been a member of the Republican Party. She is Maine's longest serving member of Congress and the longest serving Republican women senator. So what's she trying to be? I don't think she wants to be a what's his name, a Harry Byrd or something like that, Robert Byrd from West Virginia. He was the longest serving senator, or a Strom Thurmond. Yeah, that's not her goal. It's clearly not her goal, and chances are she's looking at her electoral history. Her jazz is wearing out. Yeah, she's been in Congress. Yeah, she ran in 1994. That's when she stepped into politics for the first time. 1996. Yes, this is when she won her seat and is keeping her seat, Red, since 1997. So this seat, she's been keeping this mark on this seat since 1997. What are the chances she's going to run again? And are we going to have the same reaction when Susan Collins says, "Oh, I'm not going to run again"? I think it's so unrealistic, and we get mad at Susan Collins, and I'm like, bro, dude, this isn't a for sure thing. Yeah, she's raising over $6 million. That doesn't mean anything. She gets free money, not declared. I wonder what. Yeah, she has till December. That's when her run in 2020 was made. But now, I won't be surprised if she does not declare her run in December yet. And I'm pretty much calling it. She's not running. I want her to run, but you got to have a realistic mindset. These politicians that have been in office forever. I'm talking about specifically in regards to Arizona. Okay? Specifically in this regard, Arizona District 1 holder David Schweikert, 2011. This is his 8th term. What were you expecting? Were you for sure convinced that he was going to run for re-election? I'm sorry, this guy's not like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, wherever she is in her district, yeah, right here. Yes, right here, District 14. 3rd term. She was in Congress since 2021. And this would be different if she didn't run. But it wouldn't be a big deal, right? Because she's in a safe red seat. I understand the drama of David Schweikert leaving because this is a competitive seat. But let's be honest. I'm being quite honest with you. They're going to have to leave at some point. Like Susan Collins. Blue state in Maine. Blue state. Keeping it red. She's a blessing. But that blessing goes away sometime. And eventually, we have to... And that blessing's going to go away, like, right before our eyes. It could be happening right now. Or it could be happening in the future. So, yeah, I'm just saying, if it's not going to be this year, it's going to be 2028, the next 6 years. That's the other thing. Do you think Susan Collins will hold up for another 6 years? Do you think that's possible? If she's definitely not running for re-election, if she's running for this time, she's definitely not. She's been in politics forever. She's going to have to leave. Not everyone can be a Strom Thurmond and a Robert Byrd. I know Susan Collins being a woman, that would be a huge accomplishment for her. But when it comes to specifically her roles, like being in office for look at this. This is her. If she runs again, this would be her 6th time running. This is her 6th term running. What are the chances? So I'm really trying to prepare people. And we can't then, Susan Collins is not running again. She's second in the midterms. I'm like, blood, come on. You guys walk with the idea that, Susan Collins is going to run and she's going to keep it red. She hasn't even declared her run. And she's like, yeah, she's in her upper 70s. She's not young. She can be a Joe Biden and stay there forever. No, she's in her lower 70s. And that's what the people that are mad about will say, it's about age. She's only 72. No, it's not about age. And I get what Red Eagle's saying. He thinks it's about age. No, it's not. It's about how long you stay in there. In cases of David Schweikert, yeah, you saw the district get more conservative, 2.9 in his favor. That's why a lot of people are mad because he's gaining. I understand that frustration. And a lot of people are slapping their faces because he's running for governor. Now, I agree with the frustration he's running for governor. They're saying he can't win. That's another thing I disagree with. He very well could win. And That's the other thing. You know what? Who couldn't win? Taylor Robinson. She can't win. Let's be honest. We're talking about 2 congressmen from Maricopa County who are a part of the United States House of Representatives. Andy Biggs, David Schweikert. Okay? And Schweikert wants to run for this election. Wants to run for the governorship. And everyone's saying, oh, he can't win. Well, what's your proof? I didn't watch Red Eagle's video. He didn't really provide many proof on that. He doesn't have the Trump endorsement. That's one reason. But just because you don't have the Trump endorsement, that doesn't mean you cannot win. I mean, the chances of you running against someone who has the Trump endorsement, it's a very unlikely chance that you're going to pull it off. And I understand that. And I agree with Red Eagle on that. But to say he's not going to win because of that is just unreal. It's just out of everything. I'd expect a close race. I still think Andy Biggs will pull it off. But to say that David Schweikert cannot win, not isn't going to win, but cannot win, like it's impossible. He said he would be surprised. I'm not, because David Schweikert and Andy Biggs are the same. Now, Andy Biggs is a part of the Trumpian populist Republican PAC, something like that, the Freedom Caucus. That gives him more qualifications. He's also a part of he's also a part of, in other words, the blanket on it. He's also has the Trump endorsement. Part of the Freedom. So I understand that, but Dave, and out of everything, I agree with Red Eagle. I think David Schweikert will lose, but by a lot? I don't know. Because we see the map results in this. Yeah, David Schweikert is performing very good in the bluer areas of Maricopa County. 2.9 trending to the right. That begs me that he has a shot of pulling this off. And the reason why I'm not so, I'm so outrageous, David Schweikert, you're supposed to stay in the House of Representatives forever and ever and ever until you turn rock stone because it helps us win. This is why I'm not angry. Because, to be honest, if I were in his situation, I would do the same thing. Folks, you gotta come in here to his perspective. Do you want to stay in the House of Representatives, bickering with all these stupid, demented Democrats for years and years and years to come? And then you get Hecum Discount Obama, possibly, becoming, they claim being the next speaker. I don't think that's going to happen. You get Discount Obama, and you get all these narcissist Democrats, the far left, getting seats. You want to stay in the House with them? Who would? So I'm out of here. And not to mention, you might have a dream to become governor one day. And David Schweikert seeing, look, you got an unpopular governor called Katie Hobbs. I see an opening here. I have experience as a congressman. This is my chance. Now, ideally, if David Schweikert wanted to run for governor, if it was his dream ambition, he should have done it when Arizona was much redder. Let's be honest. Or maybe, then again, to his defense, I mean, I don't know who the governor was in 2014. I know, 2014 was Doug Ducey. He could have challenged Ducey to that. But was Ducey incumbent? That's the other thing. I mean, that isn't unrealistic. If you have a dream to become governor, then you should have ran long time ago when Arizona was in your good climate, okay? And I mean, Jan Brewer was the governor in 2010. Now in 2014, that was an open seat. Doug Ducey won. You could have challenged Doug Ducey in the primary. You got a big, you had a good list of candidates. You could have ran. You didn't run, unfortunately. That's on you. Now you want to run out of this sudden? And I'm just saying, the climate might be in Republicans' favor this time, but you would have a much better chance in the general election in 2014, when it was much more reliably red, than actually in the 2026 gubernatorial election. So that is something to add. But now we got to talk about the rumors that this is going to cost us the House. That's just hyperbole. Because, and I want to compare it to Red Eagle. And Red Eagle, I like you. I love you. I subscribe to you. I follow you. I watch every single video. But we got to reference you. Because I'm not going to use your audio, but I want to use your map. Because then again, even the map's not really realistic. I'm just saying, I understand in his mind this is what it's going to look like. But he's basically walking with the idea that when it comes to specifically the David Schweikert winning and it not being contested, it very well can be contested. Let's be honest. Yeah, he hasn't had the seat called, so I don't understand why we're getting so upset about it. But maybe it's the idea that we just cannot fathom the idea. Yeah, this is his map. California, by the way, no. You can't call California. You can't. Because I don't understand if he realizes that this ballot measure is unpopular in California, what Gavin Newsom is polling for. I'm not saying it's going to pass. I'm not saying it's going to fail. I'm just saying, just go around saying that, it's a Gavin Newsom endorsed ballot measure and such. Look, progressive ballot measures in California fail all the time. We had a minimum wage ballot measure fail in last year in California. And we were all shell-shocked about that. Yeah, I was. But we got actual people on the streets of San Diego, San Jose, and San Francisco, Los Angeles. They're saying, when we go low, when they go low, we go high. We're not going to support this ballot measure. And out of everyone, it's Republicans that are trying to thwart this. You got people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rhino, by the way, and even Kevin McCarthy coming out and whacking their campaign. They're knocking on doors. They're trying to get everyone to vote. And I understand, it's uncertainty when it comes to this. I can just pull up the California map here. But Republicans are still very comfortable and have a very good chance of actually winning the House. Let me give it an example. First off, we're going to play our role and just not call California 1 yet, California 3. And he's just calling districts out of assumption that this is going to pass. I don't think that's a smart move. I'm just being quite honest. This is not necessarily a smart move and a smart assumption to make. And not to mention, Ken Culvert's seat wasn't even a part of the partitioning, as far as I remember. Okay, so you got this. Yeah, this is your map right now for California. We can actually go ahead and add the red seats in Texas. Yeah, we got those seats added. We just needed California, Texas 28 and such, which would be winnable. And yeah, you got a lot of these. I have called these seats. Yeah, I understand what he's saying. There's not much there is a lot of wiggle room, but he makes that sound like a bad thing. I think if there's wiggle room and we have to do an 8-point jump, that's benefits to our party. That's benefits to our that advantages us, because Democrats, if we win the House and we gerrymander all the way up to past 220, I think that's going to sound pretty boring to me. I'm not going to be very excited. I'd kind of be disappointed with you, because I want a challenge, guys. I want a challenge. And Democrats and the American people, they will go and say, oh, the Democratic Party, we are going to be sparing the Democratic Party, because, it would be different if it was looking like this, right? And you got 212, 215. Yeah, see, this is better than, he's got this map way better than I have it. But, specifically what I mean is, this is better because we give Democrats a chance to demonstrate that they have a political party, that they can win elections. But when we gerrymander ourselves all the way to the top, Democrats can't do that. Democrats don't have the chance to show the country how an embarrassment they are, how a disgraceful political party they are. They don't have that opportunity, that chance. So I'll go ahead and add the Florida seats. So as a result, what happens? The Democrats aren't going to fall apart like we want them to. Folks, I know Greg Foreman said it. If Democrats don't win 2026, then they're done as a political party. I agree, but Republicans need to give them a chance to actually give them what they got. You give them a twig. I don't care. Give them a twig and some sticks to fight. Or, better yet, give them a sword. Don't give them a twig. Give them a sword. If you say how bad they are as a political party, okay, give them a sword and let's fight it. Let's fight. And now you see this map's already in the Republican advantage. You got 215 seats. That's amazing. That's great. Why? Yeah, I like this. 215, you just need 216, 217, 3 seats. Why are we, and my projection is 199. So I don't understand why to say that this is costing us the midterms. Let's just say worst case scenario happens. Oh my goodness. David Schweikert loses the election. Oh boy, oh no. Well, whatever. You would probably win Maine's 2nd district. You probably win Don Davis's district. You probably win, obviously, this should have been colored a long time ago, John James's district, and 218. I understand the method. You want to win every single seat as much as possible. I understand that. But for heaven's sake, what's there to celebrate if we gerrymander ourselves all the way up to 230? Is this going to give Republicans the gas, the momentum to carry themselves to 2028? No, it's not. In fact, Democrats are going to say, well, you see, they gerrymandered themselves all the way to the top. This is going to be their narrative, and guess what? It's going to work. It's going to work. Because generally, and I'm not coming against the gerrymandering. I'm not. I think the gerrymandering is smart, and I generally think, but I'm generally not disappointed to see that the state's not going to be gerrymandering, because you want the Republicans to have a challenge by the weak Democrats. You want to give the Democrats a spotlight to show the country how competent of a party they are. But when you literally go in there and start gerrymandering the seats all the way to the top, which I'm not against, by the way, but let's just say, when you do that, though, expect Democrats and the American people to form a conclusion that, Democrats didn't really demonstrate their electoral performance because really this map was so good for Republicans. Not that we rigged it against them. No. We corrected the Texas map. We're correcting the Florida map. We have a ballot measure in Ohio. This is in our right. But expect there to be no GOP momentum and morale. Because we got into this election saying we're going to win. And we won. What's there to celebrate? We knew we were going to win. And out of everything, Democrats will go and say, everyone will go to the Democrats' defense and say, hey, you know what? Really, Democrats didn't really have an opportunity to win this. They will say this isn't really the Democrats' year. Let's give them a chance in 2028. Our goal in this cycle is to completely dismantle the Democratic Party. But when we literally don't give them a chance to give us some punches back and to see how weak they are with punching us, then the people will conclude, the party will say, look, this wasn't our year. The maps were not in our favor. Let's try in 2028. And then their Democrats exist for another 2 years. So stop moaning and groaning when we have a Republican who we knew wasn't going to last long in the House of Representatives leave. No, the midterms are not over. Out of everything, this ballot measure in California would fail. And then all of a sudden, we're going to say Republicans are going to win the midterms again. Of course they are. You also have Juan Kiscamani. He generally is surging to 1 point. And not to mention, it's not that this race isn't even not favorable for Republicans as it is in 2026. Yes, you have Democrat response bias right now. Let's be honest. They're down in the 30s. More people are undecided about this race. It's too early. Danny Biggs is probably going to take the lead when we get into the end of summer in 2026. This girl is unpopular. She is weak and not strong. Oh, but she won Maricopa County. I don't care. Jeez Louise. They tell us all the time how bad Curry Lake is. Come on, girl. You couldn't even beat Curry Lake by 1 point. The Democrats claim that Curry Lake's so weak on top and everyone hates her. Blah, 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 blah. You can't even, Curry Lake, Katie Hobbs can't even beat her by 1 point. Embarrassing. Like, seriously. I mean, GOP, they generally come out and say Curry Lake's not that strong of a candidate. I generally disagree. But, yeah, I mean, they say, oh, Curry Lake's so bad. And then you see Katie Hobbs can't even get a proper margin over her. Hilarious. And not to mention Curry Lake was beating her in the polls. This is why this race was kind of very disappointing with the outcome. Underperformance as it is. And you just kind of remember, yeah, Curry Lake is a radio host. She's not a politician. Katie Hobbs has the leverage and the experience to pull it off. But yeah, I understand the cold. I mean, I cannot tell you. I'm not disappointed. I really am not, because I'm open-minded. I'm open-minded, guys. David Schweikert's old. I'm going to say it. He's old. He's in retirement age. And he wants to run for governor. Okay, if he wants to throw his career away, and probably, if his career's over, hey, it's better to throw your career away when you're 70 than throwing it away when you're 40. So, I mean, David Schweikert is pretty much done with politics. If you are all concerned, he's done. He's done. He's tired of it. But he wants to try a governor's run. And if he loses, oh, so what? Now I'm done. I lose. My career's over. I care less. I'm going to bed. That's his mentality, and I respect that. And I understand a lot of people don't like that, But I'm just saying that's just how that politics goes. And, I think he's not going to be all devastated. I lost the primary. This is so annoying. No, he's 70, guys. And that's the other thing, guys. I'm looking at everyone around me, Red Eagle, Real American, everyone around. They're shell-shocked to see 70-year-old David Schweikert not running for a 9th term, instead running for governor. And I understand their confusion, their frustration when it comes to the governor's run. But I'm just saying, guessing, out of suspicion, he's probably saying, before I end, I always considered running for governor. I'm going to run. That's kind of the normal politics sort of deal. And if he loses the primary, I gave my shot. I'm going to go to bed now. That's kind of that mentality. What we're seeing here right now. But for a case of you all know that, it's going to go blue because the seat's open. Don't think that. Understand that David Schweikert, absolutely. I agree with Red Eagle on this part. He should have had a candidate. He should have had picked out a candidate before, a proper good candidate before running. I agree with him on that. That was David Schweikert's fault. He just willy-nilly dropped out. And then this backs up my argument. This guy's tired of politics. He can care less. Because he's tired of it. He's been in there for over, that would be like 12, 13 years in the House of Representatives. But again, you cannot expect someone who's been in politics in the House for a decade, and it's getting more crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier to expect to stay in the House. Out of everything, you're going to see the people, like older people that have been in the House forever, leave because they're tired of the drama. They're tired of the chaos. They're tired of the deep state. They're tired of the system being worked against them. Really, they're just rich politicians, but why should we care about them? I'm just saying, this is their mentality. That's their mindset. So, really, for those of you who are upset, I understand there are some people, I'm just going to be honest with you. Let's be reasonable right now. Let's be logical. Did we really think that David Schweikert was going to run for a 9th term? Hey, I can tell you what. You know who might not run for another term? Scott Perry. Scott Perry. How long has Scott Perry been in office? 2013. 2 years. Lot less than Schweikert. Don't act all surprised when Scott Perry says, I'm not running. You can interpret this as a good thing. Like, good. And I think it's very possible this would be good because this is a Republican district. Scott Perry doesn't run, keeps his seat and he's been in office forever. That's why people are losing faith in him. Hey, expect him not to run. This is his 7th term, guys. He wants to run for an 8th term. I'm not so sure. Is he running for the seat? But hey, he could drop out any time because as far as I'm concerned, I've researched that David Schweikert was running. He declared his running, filed paperwork, and then he decided, I'm going to run for governor. That can happen. And maybe Scott Perry saying, okay, you know what? I've had my time. I'm going to drop out. That happens. That's politics. So you got people like Scott Perry who could drop out. I've mentioned Susan Collins, and no one is talking about it. That's the most annoying thing. I am tired of seeing Republican pundits, conservative pundits, put Maine on the map on the likely red, like it's indefinitely going to go Republican. I'm tired of it. No, you guys are I'm not talking to you guys especially. Now, I have the map right here because I'm assuming that, let's just say, she's holding the seat as of right now. She's the incumbent. If you're going to play with the incumbency, she might as well run. But notice I have it tilting Republican. Why? Well, I will tell you what. She's losing her momentum. The shift you've seen in the Senate specifically, and I don't know if it's going to work because Jackson Jude is okay, is it working? Yes, it is. It is. All right, so let's go to 2020 to 2020. 14. Yeah. Her shift, like, she is losing. Like, this is, Gideon gained 28. She was going to win in the election, although Collins still had some jazz. But notice, she lost 17%. Her jazz is wearing off. Not to mention, she's old. 72, I don't care. She's old. She's in retirement age. She's been in office forever. She's a career politician, and eventually careers politicians close the door. She's been in there since the late 90s, in politics since the early 90s. Stop assuming she's going to run. Can she run? Yes, she can, but now more than ever, it's likely more this year that she's going to retire than in 2020. She's been in office forever, and you expect her to run for a 7th, 6th term, whatever it is? Unrealistic. So I'd say toss-up. We don't know. And best believe she doesn't run. She throws cold water. Don't let her throw cold water on you. Say, it's unlikely than likely that she's probably not going to run for re-election due to how long she's been in politics and in the Senate. So I'm prepared and ready for Democrats to pick up Maine. And otherwise, you can't go, my gosh, we're losing a seat. This is so bad. No. The good news out of this is this helps the RNC to reroute the path of the finance to go to other states that matter. Georgia, Michigan. Talking about these states. So what? It eliminates Maine? You can counter that by, we win Georgia, win Michigan. Guess what? We win a net worth of 1. And hey, if we get John Sununu running, guess what? We get 55. There you go. It was like if we had Maine, we still had Maine regardless. It's like, does it really matter? Because Susan Collins is just the backbone on the Republican Party. A thorn in the back for the Republicans because she's just a Republican in name only. I get it. She's trying to hold her the seat, and we need her because that gives us leadership positions. That does give us some abilities to get like leadership positions and committees and all that stuff, special roles. I get that, and it holds us. We want the Senate Majority Leader, right? We want to have that Senate Majority Leader position, so that we do rely on Susan Collins for that. But hey, Susan Collins, she's going to retire. She's going to throw the cold water on us someday. It's going to happen, guys. Is it going to be this year, or is it going to be next year? Or is it going to be in 6 years, 2030? I guess we'll find out. But be ready for it. Be ready for it. And if it happens this year, okay. Democrats will say, ha, you lost Susan Collins. Like, okay, don't give them what they want. They want you to boo-hoo whine and cry about it. No, we'll say, okay, we're going to reroute. We got to put money in New Hampshire, depending on who's running, Michigan, and Georgia. The point is, you're going to get a lot of people retiring due to age. That is expected. David Schweikert happens to be is a congressman retiring in a competitive seat. And the difference compared to him retiring is that he's actually continuing his political career to run for governor. I agree that's a delusional move, but this is more of his personal ambitions, and I respect that because, we all want to have a dream. I personally want to be governor someday. Don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to do everything in my power to build up the experience, build up the resume, so I can run for governor. This is less of a party thing more than a political thing. I respect that. Not to mention, this is an establishment Republican. Establishment Republicans tend to be very independent on their own ambitions, not the party ambitions. Not the ambitions of the party. They're very deep state. They'll do it for themselves. And we're looking at David Schweikert. Why are you doing this? Establishment Republican. I'm like, what? This isn't new. But yeah, I do understand the frustrations of many pundits Real American, Rad Eagle, two videos I watched today. But I'm saying I'm coming from a more realistic point of view. This guy's been in office since 2011. And I'm saying these two, Real American, Rap and Rep. Let's just call them Rap and Rep. Yeah, please, I'm begging you guys. Please play with the idea that Susan Collins may not run. Because this is what, you just allow the cold water to be thrown on you. Don't let that happen. Dodge the cold water. Dodge the bucket. Democrat and Susan Collins wants to throw the cold water on you, gotta dodge it. Get out of the way. Don't let it think, nope, Susan Collins wants to spite us. Well, okay, we're going to create a map. A New Hampshire, Michigan, Georgia. That's our game. That's our new route map. We're not going to fume and moan and groan about losing Maine, because we know if she doesn't run, we're going to lose the seat. And we're going to say, hey, you know what? We're going to be mad. It's either we be mad at her in 2026, or we be mad at her in 2030, or we will be mad at her in 2036. The fact of the matter is she's going to leave. What do we expect? Is she going to die in office? Regardless, the Democrat governor will appoint a Democrat. Anything can happen. Anything. And in this case for David Schweikert, he may not be a Susan Collins, but in this situation in the House of Representatives, absolutely. Because it gets expensive to keep running around half of the county, knocking on doors, and all the heckling, and all the security, all these rallies, blah, blah, blah. It gets tiring. This is the 9th time he would be running. The 9th time he's going to be running around northern Maricopa County. In the case of Susan Collins, she only has to do it every 6 years. She has it pretty easy. Senators have it pretty easy. You're constantly worried about re-election when you're in the House of Representatives. And most of the people are lucky in the House of Representatives. Because when you take a look at the map, most of them are pretty solid. Right? Pretty solid. Therefore, you don't have to run around and keep campaigning. But for the 17, or in this case, 21 districts, and people in these congressmen and women in these 21 districts, they do not have it that easy. They go and run around in these seats. Yeah, it could be chaotic every 2 years. And because of that, they likely don't last long. In the case of David Schweikert, hey, he lasted as long as he lasted. Eventually, he's going to leave. Now, I've made it clear. Governor's run, that's his ambition. He's probably not going to win. But I'm just saying, the thought process of your argument of saying that, oh, he's not going to win at all. It's impossible for him to win. It's delusional. It's cope. You're seething and mad because he's not running. Out of everything, he's going to, looking at his results from the 2024 race in that district, he's gaining in those liberal areas in northern Maricopa County. This tells me that, if you are looking at a primary between Schweikert and Andy Biggs, you are likely looking at a primary, very tight primary in the urban areas. Okay, and I could do a Biggs Schweikert prediction before we end this long video. But we had a lot to talk about because a lot of people were fuming and mad and groaning, and this is horrible news. This is getting lots of W's, and now it's a bad news. No, it's not. No, it's just how it goes. This is what happens every year. You get someone, you lose someone. And in this case scenario, this was realistic. No, half of it was. Now, if Schweikert was, let's just say, in his second term, and he was more younger, then I would 100% understand the backlash. 100%. This is your second term in a competitive district, and you're leaving to become a governor. That's not realistic. That is different. But Schweikert is old. He's been in office for 8 terms. You're gotta expect him to retire. This is just phenomenal. Why people are not considering that. So I felt very passionate. I wouldn't say I'm passionate about it, but I'm just mind-boggled. And I came out very strong towards Red Eagle because Red Eagle's proved me wrong on everything. Oh, not everything. He proved me wrong in Maryland. I did predict, and yeah, I mean, on a lot of stuff, but I'm just coming out and saying half of it he's wrong on. He is wrong on. Like, the process and that he's come, he could win. There's no guarantee that Schweikert would even win that district. So we're not losing someone good. We're not even losing in this case, a Josh Shapiro in this case. We're not losing a Brian Fitzpatrick or something like that. If that mentality, even if Brian Fitzpatrick didn't run, it's nothing to moan and groan about. This is his 6th term if he's running. I understand he's halfway through, but he's going to retire someday. He might run for governor, and this seat will be blue. This is just how it goes. These juggernauts, they don't last forever. But if I were to guess the primary between a Schweikert versus Biggs victory, Schweikert would win Maricopa. Schweikert would also win Pima. And likely, Penal and this county right here, whatever it's called, pull up the president race. And it shooted out a link. I don't like that. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Oh, yeah, you got Pima, Penal, and Gila counties. And those counties, I would say go to Biggs. Would Schweikert go to Biggs? Well, I would think the college students in Coconino would back Biggs. Those college Republicans. Biggs would probably win in Santa Cruz. Yeah, I probably would say maybe Tucson. But this is probably what a map would look like But yeah, this is kind of what I think it would look like. Schweikert, Biggs, 13, Schweikert, 2. You'll see Yuma County go that direction. No, it's called Yavapai. Never mind, that's Yuma's down here. Yavapai. Probably that direction. But this is kind of my point of view. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Don't let this tear yourself down. This is unrealistic. The unrealistic anger is mind-boggling. I think out of everything, I'm more confused out of this. Why are you running for governor? This race is pretty much solid, and it's the Trump endorsement and everything. You got your colleague, Andy Biggs, who I would assume you're friends with, running for this seat. It's going to be quite awkward running against him. And on top of that, he has a Trump endorsement. It's probably solid and sealed. And you're running to challenge him like you are going to get that endorsement. No, you're not. Now, I agree with Red Eagle on that. Yeah, you're not getting the Trump endorsement. It's done. It's sealed. And that's how it's going to go. But I understand why Schweikert's not running again for the House. He's tired. And this is his 8th time being in the House. And usually when you get past 8, your 8th term, you don't necessarily stay in there for often. So what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.